One thing I'm not sure that, well, I think probably most of you know this, or at least those of you that track what goes on with our agency realize this, but I've actually reshuffled the senior management of the Agency for Persons with Disabilities significantly. What I have done is I've brought in experienced area administrators to assist me. I appointed a new deputy director for the agency, Dave Robinson, who was I believe, with 19 years experience being the area administrator in Area 1. Brought in Steve Roth, who many of you may know because he's just down the road in Area 7. He's now in Tallahassee heading up residential services and also overseeing the 3 facilities. But the reason I did that is because I want to bring people who have the real world perspective up to Tallahassee. Tallahassee has been described by people, and it's kind of funny, but it's kind of true. It's 65 square miles surrounded by reality. And so I wanted to bring a little bit of that outside reality into the headquarters office. And I really want to strengthen that connection and the extent to which we are actually taking direction and letting the people out in the field determine the future direction of the agency. Again, they have the practical experience. They know what goes on a day-to-day basis, and they can help us avoid some of what you've seen in the past, these false starts, where we start and then we see what happens when it actually gets translated out into the field. Then we have to stop, regroup, and then start over again. And I'm trying my best to avoid those types of situations, because it is disruptive to people when we do that. That is something, again, that has a real life impact to a lot of people. If you get a notification from us, chances are you pay real close attention. And if there's anything wrong with that, then that's just not right. I want to make sure that we're getting things right. In the process, of course, we've reorganized the headquarters, and as I mentioned, I'm increasing the role of the area administrators. We continue to work through a whole bunch of legal challenges with the tier implementation and with the rebasing. And the rebasing, I truly believe a lot of those challenges are probably due to one of those false starts. And finally, and I guess this is on a more somber note, we're implementing reductions right now to our own staff that were mandated by the legislature in the special session. And we're looking, there will be more as a result of the regular session. Specifically, a 4% reduction to area office staff and a 10% reduction to headquarters staff. The first 4% of the headquarters was taken during the special session. The remaining 6% is now in both the House and Senate budgets that will take effect July 1. And as difficult as that may be, particularly for me in the central office, this is an option. I want you all to understand that I personally took to the legislature. I was not going to have them consider reductions to services, reductions to providers, as they have done over the last several years, and not be willing to do a little bit of belt tightening myself and in headquarters. Everybody's cutting back. Everybody's affected. So I felt it was important that that be something that we step up to do. We're not thrilled about it because this very likely will affect some people. I mean, the 10%. Before the economy took the nosedive, we had a lot of people just coming and going because there were a lot of opportunities. That stopped. So the likelihood of me being able to totally deal with these reductions that are going to come up solely through attrition, at least in headquarters, is very unlikely. And for me, that's personally difficult because these are the people, when I go to work every day, these are the people that I interact with and I see. So that has an impact. One thing that, and a couple of things I think that I want to point out, and maybe this is most important about what's going on with the agency right now. I really feel that for the first time in a long time, our community is working very well together. I have told my staff over and over and over again, we are not going to treat each other as enemies. We are all here, and we all want the same thing. We want to support our area offices, and we want to support the people that we partner with to provide youth services. We are all in this together. At the end of the day, we are in this together, and I'm trying to make sure that people understand that none of us are enemies. We are all allies. We may have disagreements, but these disagreements are honest disagreements that well-intended, honest, honorable people will have from time to time, and it's possible to have a disagreement. As they used to say in the House, I'll use their phrase here, it's possible to disagree without being disagreeable. It's possible to have honest disagreements without questioning the motives of the person that you have that disagreement with. That is something that I'm trying to change within our culture of this community, not just APD, but all of us. That's something that I'm trying to turn around. Because if we don't, we're just going to kill each other. We're going to kill each other. That will be the outcome. I believe that has led to a level of credibility that we have with the legislature that I think is better than it's ever been. Whenever I go and speak to policymakers now, I'm not greeted with skepticism. They don't question the information that I bring them. Now, part of that is that I make sure the information is right. I don't change it on them without explanation. There are some things in the past. But we are starting to develop a working relationship now with the legislature and with other policymakers that is much, much more positive than it was even a year and a half ago whenever I first joined the agency. So I'm very, very proud of that because they are in a very important position to help us. We've also balanced our budget for all practical purposes. We were looking at a $150 million deficit. That was a projected deficit going into the 2007 session. Whenever we actually did the accounting based on actuals, we felt that deficit would have been closer to $200 million had it not been for increased appropriations and some of the provisions that took effect as a result of Senate Bill 1124. And finally, we have begun to work with stakeholders, and we're starting to step up to the plate with some solutions that will create a sustainable program that will be here for the decades. A lot of what has caused us so much heartache over the last few months really came about because, and this is my opinion, because we didn't step up with solutions. And the solutions were imposed upon us. And invariably, there were unintended consequences to those solutions that didn't result in the very best outcome possible. But we are where we are, and all we can do is make sure that we make the future better. What's happened in the past is the past, but we're stepping up to the plate, and I think it's really important that we step up when there's an issue, we take ownership of our issues and our problems, and we provide a reasonable solution. And it all works together. That ties right back into that credibility issue. Whenever policymakers, when people see that we're willing to step up and confront these challenges and come up with ideas to solve them, then that really increases the level of credibility that we have. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of the stakeholder community that is engaged in that. The Family Care Council has been part of that. The Florida ARC, the ARF, the Advocacy Center. Literally a lot of the people that Aaron mentioned as participants today have been at the table attempting to work on these solutions for the system that we're going to have in the future.